All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ruby Siegel. Thank you so much for being here today. And I am just so honored that Easterseals could be here today, the Teach Disability History Committee. They have been around since 2019 with the goal of teaching disability history in schools and beyond across Massachusetts and across the United States. They have really formed this. They have really is this working now? Ruby.
Ruby, you can put that one down. Oh, right
Is
now.
this on? There we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, so again, my name is Ruby Siegel. I'm so fortunate to be here with the Teach Disability History Committee from Easterseals, Massachusetts. They have been around since 2019 with the goal to teach disability history in Massachusetts schools throughout our state and throughout every state. They have really started this campaign, so we are just fortunate to have them in our presence here today, and we're just here to amplify their voices. Again, this is a campaign that they started, and we're just here to support them and to carry on their work. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Desiree Forte.
Hi, everyone. My name is Desi. I'm the Youth Program Manager at Easterseals Massachusetts, and I'm excited to be here today with our hashtag Teach Disability History Campaign Committee to tell you more about our campaign and why it's important, and to play a game to test you all's disability history knowledge, and maybe you'll learn a little bit about disability history. But before I pass it off, so on the screen you see a collection of images. So to describe the images, the first is a group of people outside. It's George W. Bush signing the Americans with Disabilities Act. Next to that is a black and white photo of two men. One is seated in a wheelchair, Brad Lomax and his brother. Next to that is an image of President FDR sitting in his wheelchair with a dog on his lap and a young girl standing beside him. Next to that is civil rights leader Jesse Jackson standing, shaking hands with Justin Dart, seated in a wheelchair with his signature cowboy hat on. On the second row of images, we have a black and white photo of the administration building of Gallaudet University, followed by a black and white image of Harriet Tubman standing behind a chair. Followed by a black and white image of a group of people seated in chairs surrounding an ASL interpreter, and this is during the 504 sit-ins. And finally, a photo of the Capitol crawl. It's an image of people crawling up the steps of the U.S. Capitol with the Capitol in the background. So I'm now going to pass it off. So first is Austin.
Hi, yes. Hi, everyone. Where are we? The Teach Disability History campaign is led by a group of young adults with Easterseals, Massachusetts, whose mission is to provide programming for equal opportunities for people with disabilities to live, learn, work, and play. Easterseals provides programming, leadership opportunities, group mentoring, and martial arts, and more in person and virtually. Follow us on Facebook, our Facebook page, or contact us to learn more by visiting our Facebook /Easterseals Youth. Okay, and now, oh no, what am I doing now? a lot of video. Okay. And sorry. And now here's the video to tell you more about our campaign and why it is important to hashtag teach disability history. Watch this.
Teaching disability history is important because it empowers people with and without disabilities.
The Teach Disability History Campaign Committee is made up entirely of young adults with disabilities, which is so important to the campaign because these are people who have passion for this project. The campaign committee does their work by doing presentations, both virtually and in person, and they can do that in schools and to educators and even people in the community to talk about why they think it's important to teach disability history.
The goal of this campaign is to spread awareness around what disability history is.
We want people from everywhere to show the message and raise awareness.
I think it's important to teach disability history so people know that we are human too and deserve the rights.
Making sure people with disabilities have equal opportunities.
So we'll have a more inclusive society.
We can teach people who have a disability or who don't have a disability
to understand our differences and embrace them because they matter.
To feel that you're part of a community and you're part of a movement.
When we teach history, we're leaving out an entire population of individuals who have a very meaningful history.
It's an often forgotten civil rights movement. And the more we forget about these types of movement, the more risk we are at having to fight them again.
Even if you aren't part of the community, it's important to understand that there's another population of people that need representation and have their own culture and history.
We want to encourage, influence individuals in public and to teach disability history.
Through education, we can increase access and just the overall general experience.
There's still plenty of work to be done to make sure that disability history is taught in schools.
Please join us in these efforts by sharing the available curriculum and resources you learn about and teach disability history.
Hashtag teach disability history.
Hashtag teach disability history.
Hashtag teach disability history.
Get involved. Use the hashtag Teach Disability History on all your social medias.
Christopher?
In 2009, youth advocate to get the governor of Massachusetts to sign a proclamation making October Disability History Month in Massachusetts. This was a great step in the right direction, but did not mandate that anything be taught in schools. In 2019, youth at Easterseals again joined with advocates by writing letters to the Department of elementary and secondary education, the ESE, about the disability history curriculum, the Great Fight for Disability Rights. These events helped push to make this curriculum available for free to all Massachusetts teachers, but the work continues.
And on the screen is that same black and white image of the Capitol crawl, and it's of people crawling up the steps of the U.S. Capitol with the U.S. Capitol in the background. Cody?
Oh, so what is disability history? Disability history is a experience, journey, and oppression of those with disabilities have experienced in the past, including the advocacy to push the disability community has done and continues to do for equal rights. Every culture has its own history, and people do not often realize that disability is a culture.
Marina?
Thanks. Please? Yes, please.
Want me to hold the mic or the paper?
The paper. Thanks. What is hashtag Teach Disability History? The goal of the hashtag Teach Disability History campaign is to spread awareness everywhere about the importance of teaching disability history in schools. In the video, you heard why we think it's important to teach disability history. We also wanted to educate teachers and students in Massachusetts about the curriculum, the Great Fight for Disability Rights, as well as Emerging America's curriculum reform to equal rights.
And on the screen is an image of the cover of The Great Fight for Disability Rights, a film and curriculum by Allison Gilly and Eric Nudell, followed by an image of the logo of the Reform to Equal Rights K-12 Disability History curriculum.
Now, what is the campaign committee? The hashtag Teach Disability History campaign is led by a committee of disabled young adults. The committee helps to move the campaign forward by meeting regularly to discuss upcoming events and ways to spread the campaign's message. The committee presents both in person and virtually across Massachusetts and beyond, promoting the importance of teaching disability history. The committee is also continually working to push legislation supporting disability history by advocating and meeting with legislative officials.
Christopher?
One out of every 4 Americans has a disability. Currently, the only states that have any type of legislation that disability history be taught are California, Maryland, Virginia, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. Even with this legislation, it is often not enforced or built into the curriculum framework. Our campaign aims to help change this narrative. Teaching disability history are moments in history that could be overlooked.
Austin?
And get involved. Check out our website and join us in spreading the word on social media by sharing why you think it's important to teach disability history, or visit our website, which is a little bit hard for me to read. But yeah, if you go to our website, you'll find all the information that you need.
And the website is www.tdh.eastersealsma.org. For those in the room, there's flyers in the back that has a QR code that will bring you to this website. And on the screen are a collection of images of people smiling, holding signs that say, I think it's important to hashtag teach disability history because, and below that are reasons why they think it's important to teach disability history. And also, for those who are Massachusetts-based, I know that we have people from all over. At Easterseals, we have many different programs supporting young adults with disabilities, and you're welcome to stay involved by scanning the QR code and joining our newsletter to find out monthly updates. For those on the Zoom, we can try to email out a link to that. And on the screen is a photo of our email. So now Cody and Marina are going to share a little bit about what the group did earlier today.
So earlier we met with students from this building to really talk about the different organizations that serve our state in the history of it. I pass it on to Marina.
Thank you, Cody. It was so great because we all talked about the different organizations and different kind of groups there are about supporting people with disabilities that even I hadn't been aware of.
Cody, you want to get us ready for the game?
So it's game time. We will be playing a multiple choice game to the disability history facts. You will need a second device such as a cell phone. This is how you will answer the questions. If you do not have a way to play on your own, that's alright. You can team up with someone. Go to the website called www.kahoot.it. From there you will see this window. We will now share the code for you to put in. And remember, we're here to have fun and hashtag teach disability history.
So now we're gonna get set up for the game, and I'll be sharing on my screen the code, as well as there'll be a QR code people can share, and I'll also put a link in the chat that people can directly click on for those that are on Zoom. And this game is accessible by a screen reader for those who need it. And normally there's this fun Kahoot music that plays for anyone that's done Kahoot, but due to it being hybrid, we weren't able to get that. So just think about some fun music while we're playing this game. I'm just gonna move. Can you move over with it so I can next to you?
I think we should swap because you're probably gonna read first, so you can be a little closer.
Desi, the music is playing in my head.
Yeah. It's always my favorite.
So if you weren't able to, no, they probably can't hear me.
Yeah, you have to speak into the mic.
So for whatever hello everyone. So for whatever reason you were not able to take out your phone and scan this QR code, if you do go to the kahoot.it website, you will be able to input the code, and the code is the PIN, I apologize, is 8795395. And just to repeat that one more time, if you are not able to scan this QR code, you are welcome to go onto the website www.kahoot.it, and you can put in this game PIN, and it is 8795395.
All right, I think, are we ready to get started? I know some people are still kind of joining in. All right, and they're just starting.
Okay. Yay. So the first question is, this disabled Asian American advocate, activist, authored the book Disability Visibility. Stephanie Meyer, Alice Wong, Stephen King, or J.K. Rowling? Yes. See? It's not.
And as you're figuring out the answer to this question, on the screen is a photo of the book, Disability Visibility, 17 first-person stories for today.
Yes, it was Alice Wong.
The conductor of the Underground Railroad had traumatic brain injury from a slave owner striking her in the head. This was Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. Let's know the answer.
Yeah.
Remember what Desi said, guys? Imagine the music going doo 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 doo.
And the answer was Harriet Tubman. And on the screen is a black and white photo of Harriet Tubman standing behind a chair.
This president had polio, and for fear of the public's view of disability, he very rarely appeared in his wheelchair. Is the answer Abraham Lincoln, Barack Obama, Franklin D. Roosevelt, or George Washington? Yeah, and so the correct answer was Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
And on the screen is a black and white photo of President FDR seated in his wheelchair with a dog on his lap and a small girl standing beside him.
Ooh.
Oh, we got some movement. in 1988, students from this deaf university protested Deaf President Now to have the school run by a deaf president. Was it Gallaudet University, Boston University, Brandeis University, or Leslie University? And on the screen is a black and white image of the administration building of this university. Yeah, and the answer was Gallaudet University.
The 504 sit-ins in April of 1977's San Francisco HEW building lasted blank days. 2 days, 1 night, 1 hour, or 26 days.
And on the screen is a photo of a yellow button that says Handicap Human Rights, sign 504.
It was 26 days for those of you who got it correct.
And this is still the longest occupation of a federal building in the U.S.
During the 504 sit-in, activist Brad Lomax got his party to provide food to protesters. A, the Green Party, the Republican Party, the Black Panther Party, the Democratic Party. Which is the answer?
And on the screen is a black and white photo of Brad Lomax, a black man seated in his wheelchair with his brother kneeling down next to him. And the answer was Black Panther Party. So as we just talked about, this event lasted 26 days. And so for 26 days, those protesters needed to eat, right? And so Brad Lomax, and this really shows the intersectionality of disability and other intersections, used his leadership in the Black Panther Party to get them to support the protesters because they had more experience with long-term protests like this. So without the Black Panther Party support, the 504 protests would not have been able to last as long as they had, getting the results that they did.
This Mexican woman was a surrealist artist with disabilities and began creating her artwork after being hospitalized. Is the answer Dua Lipa, Alice Wong, Frida Kahlo, or Frederick Douglass?
And on the screen is a painting of this artist.
Yeah, Yeah, so the correct answer was actually Frida Kahlo.
Yeah. Why are you giving it to me? Oh, but listen. It's on. Oh, sorry.
The first wheelchair division in a major marathon took place in 1975 in this city. Is it Chicago, New York City, Boston, or London?
Chicago. Oh, Boston. I'm walking here. Oh. Oh, burn. What did I do?
My hint for those who are doing this, the answer is probably closer than you think. Yeah, but 47 people had already done it, so.
Oh.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, so the answer is the Boston Marathon. And on the screen is a black and white photo of Bobby Hall pushing in his wheelchair. He was the first wheelchair athlete to complete the Boston Marathon.
What does the ADA stand for? Adults Decide to Act, Americans Diseducated to Arts Act, Architectural Demands Act, or the Americans with Disabilities Act.
And on the screen is a photo of a button that says I Heart ADA.
Oh, I'm always multitasking. I'm really bad at multitasking.
Andrew, you're making it hold the mic.
Yeah, I was like, get that. I'm done. Yes, it was the Americans with Disabilities Act. Oh.
Okay, PJ Remy getting up there. I see you.
Okay. The ADA is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in all areas of public life.
And on the screen is an image of the Americans with Disabilities Act document.
On what date was the American with Disabilities Act signed? January 18, 1992, May 4, 2000, April 25, 1999, July 26, 1990. Drum roll, what's the answer?
And on the screen is a photo of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I'm not going to say who's signing it because I think that's an upcoming question. Since it's outside on the south lawn of the White House, so that might help give a little bit of a hint of what part of the year it was. So the answer was July 26th, 1990.
Okay, Maddie, doing well. And correct answers. That's awesome. This president signed the Americans with Disabilities Act. Is it Jimmy Carter, Abraham Lincoln, George H.W. Bush, or Barack Obama?
So if you know your presidents, the hint is using the date from the last question.
And if you don't know your presidents, it's not one that was recent. And the correct answer was George H.W. Bush.
And on the screen is George H.W. Bush's presidential portrait of him holding a piece of paper with a globe and photo in the background.
Wow.
This Supreme Court decision ruled that people with disabilities have the right to live in the community. Is it Brown v. Board of Education or the Olmstead decision? And the answer was the Olmstead decision. And on the screen is a photo of one of the plaintiffs, Lois Curtis, sharing a piece of her artwork with President Barack Obama in the White House. And so Lois Curtis was institutionalized and she didn't want to be in an institution. She wanted to live in a community, and that decision went all the way up to the Supreme Court that ruled that people with disabilities have the right to choose where they live.
Disability activist did this action at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to push for the passage of the ADA, danced at the Capitol building, sang at the bottom of the steps of the Capitol, climbed the steps, or slept at the Capitol. Oh, gosh.
And on the screen is a photo of the U.S. Capitol building.
It was climbed the steps. Woo! Yay. On March 13th, 1990, over 1,000 people went to the U.S. Capitol to demand that Congress pass the Americans with Disabilities Act. This was known as the Capitol Crawl.
And on the screen is a black and white photo from that event of people crawling up the steps of the Capitol with the U.S. Capitol in the background.
Caroline Lahorn was a stage performer at the historic New York City Theater, which was the Sydney Opera House, the Wilbur, the Carnegie Hall, the Boston Garden.
I think it was the Boston Garden.
Boston Garden?
Of course.
Might be. Let's see.
This one is not close.
I mean, that doesn't really help.
The answer was Carnegie Hall, and on the screen is an image of Carnegie Hall.
Caroline Lawhorn. She was the first deafblind African American to graduate college.
And on the screen is a black and white photo of Geraldine Lawhorn, a black woman with short black hair.
The term ableism first originated in the United States in the 1800s, 1980s, last year, or in the 1600s.
Definitely last year.
And on the screen are small blocks that spell out the word ableism with a bunch of other block letters in the background.
So the correct answer was 1980s.
Yesterday.
And then what is ableism? Ableism is the discrimination of and social prejudice against people with disabilities. Nice. So in third place, we got Lauren. Woo! Second place, we got Maddie. Woo! First place, we got and Aggie. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Awesome. So while we're setting up the next slide, I'm going to invite our presenters to come back up. And we want to open it up and talk with you all.
Is it hiccups? Is it choking? Is it...
You want to come back just a little bit more, just so you can be in the frame? I can take that, sorry.
Thank you. Oh, okay. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. Pushing me around.
All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our presentation and game, maybe learned some facts, tested your knowledge. And I first want to have our campaign committee members introduce themselves, as well as maybe how long you've been involved with the campaign committee.
You mind if we get started right here?
Oh yeah, I have two microphones in front of me. I guess I'll choose this one. Hi everyone, my name is Austin and I've been involved since the beginning, which was in 2019 and 2019.
When I joined about the same time, I joined in 2019 to help co-found the Teach Disability History campaign. I'm excited to all be here with you today.
Your name?
Andrew. My name is also Andrew.
Hi everyone, my name's Marina Shelton, and I also joined the campaign when it started in 2019.
I'm Christopher DeNicola. I part this campaign because I heard about it for Desiree.
This year?
Hi everyone, my name is Cody. I joined during COVID, which was 2020, which I feel was still the beginning of the campaign. So yeah.
Cody?
Okay. Hi, my name is Olivia. I've been a part of the campaign since last year.
Me too. Oh. Hi everyone, I'm Sam and I have been a part of the campaign since last year as well, but I also work with Easterseals and help run the campaign and we're really happy to be here today.
So I think now we want to open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions, and I think somebody's monitoring the chat. If people want to put questions in the chat, or if there are any questions, we'd love to chat with you all. And we also have a question up on the screen. If you can't think of a question to ask, but you want to share why you think it's important to hashtag Teach Disability History, and maybe there's somebody that can go around with a microphone.
Did you feel that breeze?
So I just wanted to say this is amazing. The work you guys must have put into this. Jim and I have been doing some similar stuff, and I know it's just amazing what you guys have done. But so you go to different organizations, places, and put on a similar presentation for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this group, as you heard in the presentation, it started kind of informally back in 2019 after advocating to get the Great Fight for Disability Rights into Massachusetts schools. And then some of the young leaders up here approached me and said, how do we keep this going? And we started off by going to different events like the Abilities Expo, which was a big disability expo, and ADA events, sharing this sign that you see on the screen that says, I think it's important to teach disability history because, and this group was meeting very regularly on Zoom. I always say before Zoom was the cool thing to do. And then 2020 happened, and we were still connecting on Zoom, and we weren't sure the direction that the campaign and the committee was going to go in, and we unexpectedly started getting opportunities to present to groups like this. The group has presented at schools, elementary schools, high schools, colleges, like this one, to all different audiences. We were fortunate enough to get grant funding for a year to support our committee, and now we really will speak to whatever audiences we think that would benefit from hearing from us.
So I did have a quick follow-up. Did you guys plan to do any like train the trainer type stuff with other youth groups so that other youth groups could then expand on this with you?
No, I mean, I think that's stuff we've sort of talked about, especially within our group, that this is just a small sampling of our group of all these young leaders that we invite and encourage them to take this wherever they want to go. And if there's other groups that sort of want to hear from us or learn from us, we're happy to talk with them. But we've sort of been building this as we go and figuring out what the next best steps are.
Yeah, I'm curious. I was unaware of this 2019 law. I came in a little bit late because of the commuter rail. But I'm curious if any districts or states, in your opinion, have done a adequate job at teaching disability history in the disability rights movement. I can tell you from my experience in this state, 10 years ago as a high school student, disability rights was not mentioned at all. And I hadn't heard of the Capitol Crawl until like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm curious if you think that any states or districts are a good case study for this push.
I mean, I can.
Cody's got it.
I think from research, Pennsylvania does have some model. I think it's a grant program that incentivizes teachers to teach disability history. The problem in math when we approach K through 12 teachers, we get, well, we have to teach MCAS. And this ain't under MCAS, so I will just flag and don't want to get political here, but us involved, yes, on the question to alleviate that pushback from teachers.
Yeah, I think, Cody, you summed it up really well, that the teachers have so much to teach, and there is no mandate that this be taught. So our young advocates helped get the curriculum available to Massachusetts teachers, but there's still no mandate. There are some schools that are teaching it. I don't have the data over which ones are doing that. And Cody highlighted Pennsylvania. So we're actively looking at what other states are doing. Because everyone knows how you change curriculum. It's a very big process. We can't just go to the legislator and say, "Hey, we want schools to teach disability history." So we're navigating what the best way to approach that is. And in Pennsylvania, their method was that they have incentivized for teachers that teach disability history.
Kind of two different. I just started crafting a bill that I have a platform that I can get support, and I hope to partner with the American Natural History Museum to support that bill, and we can go to the Hill and get sponsors and hopefully get that on the House and Senate floors.
Thank you. We had a question from the chat, and you just spoke about this a little bit with a challenge with mandating curriculum. Are there any other challenges or setbacks that you all have faced?
Well, I think that's the biggest one, is figuring out where to go next with how we want to approach this. So we have this campaign that promotes the importance of teaching disability history, and we always say that we don't necessarily teach disability history aside from the game, because there's amazing educators out there and curriculums to do that, and we have resources on our website directing people to some of those curriculums. But yeah, it's just sort of figuring out where do we go from here and how do we want to approach those next steps.
Thank you.
Streams are keeping your efforts going.
And sorry, one last question is just what funding streams are keeping your efforts going?
Particularly our campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the full support of Easterseals Massachusetts, which is great. And we had, like I said, we had grant funding from Easterseals National as well as the Library of Congress Teaching with Primary Sources back in 2022. So now. We try to do these presentations as often as we can, but knowing that funding is limited, Easterseals is a nonprofit, and so we look to spaces that are able to support our campaign committee members to come and speak and share our campaign with them. So that's sort of where our funding is at right now.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to close us out. Any last words before I do so?
Thank you for being here to listen to the presentation today, for this opportunity, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do want to say one thing. Yeah, thank you all so much. And for those in the room, there are these signs that are on the screen in the back with markers. If you'd like to take that or write it and share it, we'd love to get photos or just post it on your own social media. Use the hashtag Teach Disability History and spread the word.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to thank Easterseals Teach Disability History Committee so much for being with us today. I know I learned something. Something new. So I really appreciate you all. And I would really just encourage everyone who's here in person or whether you're virtual to just get to know these amazing young people. They're teachers, they're community members, they're self-advocates, and they are doing amazing things in our community. So please talk to them, get to know them, and see how you can work with their campaign. So if you're in person, we have a light reception in the back. And then, as Desi said, there are also some posters in the back. So again, thank you all so much for being with us today. And if we could just give them one last round of applause.